growing up, I was always my brother's keeper and, I was the pawn between my parents' failed marriage. I wasn't me. I didn't even know who I was.
The right conversation can change everything. This is Mirror Talk, Soulful Conversations.
In this episode, we'll be learning about holistic natural health from a mother, an author, and health expert. She's the host of A Magical Life, Health, Wealth, and Weight Loss. Welcome to the show, Magic. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Mirror Talk. I appreciate your presence here today, all the way from Australia. You woke up quite early to speak. I really appreciate that sacrifice, and I'm looking forward to learning so much from you. And I have to say, I love your name, Magic. I saw it like, yes, we're going to create some magic and have some magical life by the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for that.
It's great to be here, and I do have to say it's still dark outside.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, thank you so much for waking up early to just make this happen. I would just love us to dive straight into it. I want to say dive deep into it, but just move into it. I would love to learn from your life journey as a single mother and a survivor of many life-threatening health conditions in the past. I read your story and I was like, wow, you are truly strong and you've really gone through a lot, but you came out stronger, better than before. So can you share your story with us? We'd love to learn more about you, Magic.
Yeah, well, I was in a very unhappy marriage and basically raising my kids alone. And then I decided that's exactly what I needed to do. So, the marriage split up. I took the kids with me and became a full-time single mum. And it was during that time that I discovered that I had cancer. I'd contracted Lyme disease. I also had diabetes and I'd had a couple of mini strokes. So, things weren't great. I was kind of facing my mortality pretty quickly. I had some surgery for the cancer and that was botched. Luckily, they took the cancer, but they left me with a number of other health conditions from the surgery. And so it was really like, I have to work out what my priorities are. All the superfluous things that we do every day just didn't matter to me anymore. I saw just how much time we all waste in things that really don't sustain life. We worry about the next big thing that we're doing or the next thing that we're wearing or what we're buying next. And really none of that matters. It's one thing that matters, and that is family. Actually, two things, family and your health. And so that's what I focused on, both of those.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I love what you said. Family matters a lot to us. I mean, it even affects our health. Once we have a healthy family, we'll have a healthy life also, I believe. Yes. And from your life experience, can you just enlighten us how you were able to deal with toxicity, for example, in the marriage and the trauma that comes, with all the troubles of life?
Yeah, well, people think toxicity is just like chemical exposure or toxins in food. And well, yes, it is, but it's many more things. It's toxicity in the people around you. It's toxicity in partners. It's toxicity in your own thoughts. Yes, there's the chemicals, the foods, radiation from lights and computers, she says, sitting in front of a huge computer. And, we take in toxicity everywhere, but we really don't look at what we're doing to ourselves. And, along my journey for my health and in my marriage, I had to realize that people were toxic, that I was toxic. So the things I was thinking and feeling about myself, those were toxic thoughts. The words that I was saying were toxic. They say it takes two to rumble, have a fight. Well, certainly
Yes.
in my marriage,
Yeah.
I wasn't innocent. I had to look at the person that I'd become. Was this a person I wanted to be for the rest of my life? And the answer was no, because there was so much toxic reaction and toxic action. So, we really have to look holistically, as in a whole, at what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're saying, the people around us, what we eat, what we put on our skin, what we have at our home. And so, toxicity is a really huge issue in our lives.
Sometimes you do not need another episode. You need the right moment, the right voice, the right truth for where you are right now. Ask Mirror Talk is a space where you can bring real questions, honest feelings, and the life moments you are navigating. When you ask, you are not met with generic advice or surface-level answers. You are met with insights drawn from real conversations, lived wisdom, and powerful moments from the Mirror Talk podcast. Whether you are questioning, growing, searching, or feeling stuck, this tool helps guide you to reflections, sound bites, and specific episodes that speak directly to what you are experiencing. This is not about fixing you. It is about meeting you. Ask what is on your heart. Mirror Talk will reflect back what may help you see more clearly.
And how were you able to like get rid of, those toxicity after you left the marriage and after you formed a new life for yourself? How were you able to get rid of those behaviors or those habits or character that you've, absorbed inside?
Yeah, look, it took me a while. And what I really had to do was find myself. So in science, we have, the idea of self and non-self. So self, for example, is cells within your body. So intracellular cells. Non-self are extracellular, so outside your cells, things like pathogens. Okay. And so applying that theory, I had to really look at myself. What were my ideas on life? And then what did I inherited from the people around me? And were they serving me? And, I went to a networking function not long after we moved towns, and someone said, "So who are you?" And I went, "Well, I'm an ex-wife, I'm a mum, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter." And they said, No. Who are you?" And that was a question I really wasn't ready to answer. And I realized that I actually had no sense of self. And what had gotten me into the illness predicament that I was in and the failed marriage was I didn't have me. So I had no sense of self. And I'd had no sense of self for decades. So, growing up, I was always my brother's keeper. And, I was the pawn between my parents' failed marriage. I wasn't me. I didn't even know who I was. So, I find with a lot of clients now that come to me, I say, "Who are you?" And they start listing off all the job titles, mum, father, business owner, worker, whatever. And I'm like, no. Who are you? So you really do have to establish that sense of self. Now, if someone was to say to me now, "Magic, who are you?" I am
Yes.
someone that loves permaculture gardening. I adore my cats and my kids. I'm someone who's sustained every day by the idea that today can be better than yesterday and that I'm alive today. That's who I am. I'm alive. So it's very different
Yes.
to I'm a mum and a business owner and a practitioner, and they're just job titles. They mean nothing. It's who are you inside? I'm a lover of
Yeah.
nature. I'm someone who's excited right now that the sun's about to come up in front of my eyes. I'm someone that is full of energy, and I'm going to take energy as well and create for the day. So we really do have to dive deep into who are you?
Yes, you are magic. Yeah, and you are not a real sunshine, but you are like the old sunshine basically to the world. And I'm so grateful that you are here today. Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. I would love to talk about, what you do also, even though that's not what defines who you are, but you have this holistic natural health that you help to bless the world with. And when preparing for this conversation, I got to understand that for us to go on this journey of health or living a much more magical life or holistic natural health, we have to be able to know how to listen to our body. So I would just love you to enlighten me on that. How can I listen to my body?
Definitely, that is so important to listen to your body, and we don't. So we live in a day and age where, we put Band-Aids onto cuts. and we don't want to see them healing. We just want to cover it up. Or we take a pill and we say, I don't want the headache. I'm going to take this pill to stop the headache. But what we don't ask our bodies, how are you going to heal this cut? Why is that headache there? How can I work with you? What are you telling me? Okay, so we really have to listen to what our bodies and our minds are telling us. And we've become so used to take this, do that, cover that. We really have to stop doing that. We have to go, okay, headache. Why do I have a headache? Am I hydrated? Am I able to reduce my stress? Did I sleep well? Do I just need to get out into the early morning sunshine and recharge my body, get those early morning rays to get the bacteria in my gut working? Do I need to get the vitamin D going? Why have I got a headache? Am I stressed about something? Was I grinding my teeth last night? They're the questions that we need to ask, not be running for an aspirin and go, let's get rid of the headache. And we do this right through our lives. And you know what? There's 13 systems of the body, and they all tell us things. My wonderful mentor, Dr. Stuart Gillespie, has a saying, and I love this, and that is, if you don't listen to the whispers of the body, soon enough you're going to hear the screams. And we have to listen to those whispers. Our bodies and our minds, they want us to be well. In fact, the human body has one idea every moment of every day, even while you're asleep, and that is keep you safe. So is the headache trying to keep you safe from something else? Is it the warning sign that maybe you're dehydrated and you need to grab your water? Is it maybe that the warning sign that you didn't get enough sleep? You need to adjust how you're sleeping or go to bed earlier? Like, what is it trying to tell you? Because it wants you to be safe. At Holistic Natural Health, we teach our clients to listen to the body, not just cover it up. But what is the root cause? Why is it that your body says X, Y, Z? What is it trying to warn you?
Yeah. I love that. Thanks so much for sharing that. Like, we should not just jump and take the paracetamol or the aspirin, for example, but try to understand why we are feeling that pain or having that, ache, basically. But then, yes, it's one thing to listen to our mind or to our body, but it's another thing to really understand what it's trying to tell us, So are there like some things we could do to understand, okay, what's our body system telling us, and, maybe to get to the root cause of whatever illness that we are feeling at the moment?
Definitely.
Yeah. So can't you just like some tips on ways to really understand, okay, I'm having an headache, headache, and this is the reason why I'm having a headache, or how can I get to the root cause of the headache and not just say, okay, I'm going to just treat the symptom like you explained and just use the painkiller and then get rid of the pain. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when we're taking a painkiller, we're covering up the symptom. And this is what healthcare has become. It is chasing symptoms and then covering them up. So we really need to go back to the old ways. What is the root cause? Headache, for example, we've discussed a few different possible root causes. So once you address those, you eliminate some of the possibilities. And once you eliminate some of the possibilities, you get more towards what is causing, say, the headache, for example. Okay? We can't be alarmist and we can't go, well, a headache, that means I've got a brain tumor. Like, that is making 1 + 1 = 15. You can't do that unless you eliminate the easy things first. Dehydration, sleep, stress, lack of sunlight. You have to really look at the easy things first. And this is what working holistically with your health looks like. And that is, what is the root cause or root causes? How do I treat those? And what else are they telling me? Right? So lack of sleep. Well, might be a headache. It also might be irritability. It might be, a sore jaw. You might have been grinding your teeth. It might be the start of menopause. You didn't sleep well because you were tossing and turning because you were hot, cold, hot, cold. It could be worry about something coming up. So then you might need to do some journaling about the thing that's coming up to relieve the stress. It could be something completely different. I know when my kids were little, I couldn't sleep well and I was getting headaches when they had something coming up because I was worried for them,
Wow.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't even my
Yeah.
issue. It was their thing going on and I was preempting it, and certainly when they were little, I could hear them roll over in their beds. I never slept well because I was tuned into what
Oh,
they were doing. So again, not my issue, their issue, and yet I was getting up in the morning with headaches, having not slept well. So, we really do have to look at all the root causes and treat that. From the headache scenario, what is causing it? What is fueling or causing that? What is behind that? And once we go down all those lines, we can really get to the true root cause. Now, it may be, that someone said something when you were 5. We've all had those dreams, and all of a sudden in the dream, you're 5 again, you're on the playground, and you're like, wow, why did I think that last night? That was strange. Haven't even heard from that person for 40 years, and now all of a sudden they popped into my dream. Why is that? It's because there's some unresolved trauma there. That's why it's popping up now. It's your body saying you need to be okay with what happened in the past, leave it in the past, let it go. But you're not, you're thinking about it and it's affecting you now at 45, 50, 55, whatever. So, this is how trauma creeps in. So what we have to do with trauma is we have to say this could be a possible root cause. I need to detach my energy from what happened in the past because it's no longer serving me. And I need to take the lessons forward. Maybe what happened when I was 5 made me the person I am today. And thank you for that. But now I need to let you go. And we need to really look at, certainly we are one of the only species scientifically that do this. And that is we drag stuff from our childhood right through our lives, like baggage on our shoulders, and we expect it not to harm us. And, very much no other animal will do this. They will have life lessons and they will have, community lessons and family lessons, but they don't let it overshadow them. We are very much trauma-based as humans, and we take those things along with us. So detach yourself from that. Take the learning, but detach the energy so that it no longer harms you.
that's so deep, Magic. Like, detach yourself from all those baggages. Like, let's go of them. Let's go of those. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what helps us to live a very holistic, natural, healthy life. That, like you said already. And I'm so happy that you help people, with their immune reset, like getting rid of toxicity, for example. It's wonderful what you do to help people in that regard. Also, so I know you've already answered this in some ways already, but I'd love to learn more about how we could accelerate our emotional, spiritual, and physical health. Are there some things we can do from your practice, for example, from what you offer to the world that we can do to accelerate this?
Yeah, look, health is quite broad ranging, and there is the physical. That is the, ow, my arm hurts. Why does it hurt? Then we have the mental. So we've all discussed mental health a lot in the past 10 years. And that is, is your brain coping? Are your neurotransmitters working for you? We're looking at, what is causing depression and anxiety, for example. And then we have emotional health, the baggage that you're dragging along with you. You can have good baggage and you can have bad baggage. The good baggage is the thing that you're going to open that case and you're going to have all these wonderful tools with you at all times for your emotional health. And then the bad is, I'm taking something from when I was 5 and it's affecting me now in a negative way. And so there's ways that you can accelerate all these levels of health. And the first thing is know who you are, why you are that person and what you stand for. Look at what your goals are, not just your physical goals, but your mental and your emotional goals. Always have something to strive for, because when you don't, that's when you stagnate. And when you stagnate, you can fall backwards easily. So you need to be always better than you were the day before. Okay? Not only for you, but for the people around you, for the environment around you, the animals around you, your garden, You always want something better than you had yesterday. And that's natural to do that. Okay, we don't see plants growing and they go, look, do you know what? I'm just going to grow to 2 feet high and then I'm going to die. They don't do that. They grow to 2 feet high and then they start getting bushier and leafier and more flowers, and they put their energy into being better than they were yesterday. Okay, so we need to do that too. And what we need to do for ourselves is embrace all of our wins. And we don't do that very often. Certainly here in Australia, there's, a bit of a tall poppy syndrome, they call it. And that is, once you raise up to a level, people are going to try and cut you down. But we do that to ourselves as well. We set limits on ourselves. This is how much I can earn. This is the house that I'm going to live in, and that's going to be my forever home. Why set limits on yourself? Really strive for what it is for you that makes sense. Don't set limits according to society. We've seen this through generations. We had, women and men were equal, and there was hunters and gatherers, and everyone contributed to the food of the family or the food of the community. And then we saw women were less than men. And then we saw women now are equal to men. And of course, now we have it. Is that a man? Is that a woman? Is that something else? I'm not going to get into that discussion. But we've changed what these settings for society are. But what we don't say is this person the best they can be, the best version of them that they can be? Not categorizing as inferior, superior, equal. What about that person? And this is something I had to learn for myself. I was subservient, and then I was an equal, and then I was empowered, through the changes in my life. And I had to look at, hang on, none of that matters. Who am I today? Am I better than I was yesterday? Tomorrow, how can I be better than I am today for me? It's not about having more or doing more. It's about being more. And then we see that societal labels of equality or, being inferior or superior don't matter. What matters for you? How can you show up better than you did yesterday? And really, the only person that needs to matter to is you.
Yes. Always make sure your tomorrow is better than today. Always improve, keep on improving, and that way you grow and you blossom and become a wonderful tree or a mighty oak tree, for example. Yeah. That's so deep. Thanks so much for sharing that. And that way we're able to also accelerate our health, basically. Once we ensure that we are always better and we're getting rid of the baggages and just, improving, getting, resetting basically all the time and improving, resetting, improving, resetting. Yeah. You're an expert in this. There are a lot of people, some also listening, are probably struggling with, for example, weight gain or weight loss. And they are, maybe they've tried a lot of things in the past, but they don't know what else to do in order to let go of or maybe lose the weight, for example, maybe gain weight, depending on their case. How would you advise such people?
Look, this has been an endless quest in my life. I remember when I was a child, my mother would say, "You're gaining weight." And she made it like a demonized idea that I was gaining weight. I was a child. I was growing. Of course, I'm going to gain some weight because I'm growing. I'm actually getting bigger. But she was focused on the scales, and that set in motion a life of weight issues with me. I had eating disorders. I'd been through the whole gamut. And then I got pregnant and I gained so much weight that my life was threatened. And then I had, I lost a lot of weight and became really fit. And then I got sick and I gained more weight. And then I got lymphedema. So you can see on camera, I've got lymphedema. So really, all of this has been a problem through my life. But what I've had to do is detach myself from my weight and say, well, I'm the person I am inside. The outside doesn't matter. But we know that weight gain contributes to things like heart disease and, really some horrible diseases. But it's not the be all and end all. What you weigh on the scales really doesn't matter. A, are you happy within yourself? B, are you fit and healthy? And C, what does that look like to you? Not what you see on the outside, but what is on the inside. And I just want to say on the fit and healthy thing, I've seen over the years in the gym lots of gorgeous looking skinny people that are sick. And they are what we call skinny fat, right? So skinny on the inside, skinny on the outside, fat on the inside. And you can still have coronary heart disease if you're skinny, because what you're eating may not be healthy, and you may have, fat around your arteries. You might have some internal health conditions, but still be skinny on the outside. Okay, so it's not always what you see is what you get. And this is really important. We need to stop judging what is on our outside and really start looking at the person that we are on the inside, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Who are we on the inside? Our outer shell is just our outer shell. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. Who are you? That's the question I'm going to, take out of this podcast episode. Like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I inside? Who am I truly? Yeah. What is outside is just for show, basically. But what really matters is what is inside. Yes. Yeah. Wow. And I believe once we are able to identify who we are and be able to answer that question honestly, then we'll be able to create personal wealth, for example, or financial or emotional wealth, also most importantly. I'll kind of share some other tips we could use to create this also. Like, health is wealth. But, are there like some other tips you could share for us to be able to create personal, financial, and maybe emotional wealth also?
Yeah, look, on my podcast, I talk about this a lot. And wealth, people think it's just finances, it's just money. Well, it's not. What is your personal wealth? What are the things that you dear? What do you stand for? What keeps you going every single day? That is your deep personal wealth. What is your emotional wealth? Can you pop in and out of different emotions, or are you stuck somewhere? Someone with low emotional wealth gets angry all the time at everything. Okay, or fearful all the time of everything. You're stuck in one major emotional pattern. When you have emotional wealth, you can go in and out, and you can laugh 1 minute, cry the next, be really happy within yourself, but be concerned for someone else. You run the gamut of emotions, and that is healthy. That is natural. That is what you are supposed to do. When you get stuck in one emotion, you really damage your emotional wealth, and then you start getting sick. So we're looking at all these things that directly affect our health. And so wealth, we need to stop looking at just as money. We need to say, am I wealthy with my family? Am I wealthy with my pets? Am I wealthy with my garden? Am I wealthy with my community? It's not just, am I wealthy with my money?
Yes. Because what's the essence of having all the money in the world when you're not in good terms with your family or with your own personal health? The money is a waste. It's meaningless at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the old story of the Scrooge. Okay, very wealthy financially, very low personal wealth. Didn't really see himself. Didn't see himself in society, in a family. So he was isolated. Very low emotional wealth. He could not see that the people that worked for him had lives and concerns, and he didn't concern himself with those. So that's a great story that shows exactly what these levels of wealth are.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Magic, I've learned so much from you. I mean, I'll recommend your podcast to every listener out there. I'll place a link to your website in the show notes of this episode. So I encourage everyone to listen to your podcast. I mean, to even learn more from you. From the little time we've spent on this episode already, I can I can tell you like 10, 15 things that I've learned already from you. But for people out there who would like to maybe get in contact with you, maybe to know more about your services, to listen to your podcasts, to reach out to you basically, or maybe ask some other questions that we didn't cover. Like, can you tell us briefly about your services and how we could also work with you?
Yeah, everything is on our website, which is www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. So we are based in Australia, and holistic has a W in front of it. And so there you're going to find all of our services, everything from our free call, which is root cause analysis, right through to our shop. We have functional health blended essential oils in our shop. We have programs such as our functional liver and lifestyle detox program. We have our other programs, our holistic approach resets. There's lots of things that we do there. We also do some teaching. So you'll find, links to courses and things like that. And you'll find our podcast, which is Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. We interview people right around the world and we ask the questions that I've answered today and we see everyone else's take on it. And, so from there, you can find links to our socials as well. We're always educating on the socials. So every other day, there's something that comes out that might be a poll or it might even be a giveaway of something that we find really useful for our health. And, there'll be information and all sorts of goodies there. So, yeah, there's lots of ways that we serve and just pop onto the website and have a look around.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Link to your website again will be in the show notes of this episode. Encourage everyone to just click on the website, on the link or copy the link to the website, visit the website and just go through the different services, read up on different things. And you don't know, your life could change from just, engaging in one of the services that is on the website. Thank you so much, Magic. I really appreciate this. It was so wonderful speaking with you. You helped me to learn how to not just look at the symptom, but look at the root cause of it all. And that way I could improve my health. And when I improve my health, I improve my wealth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If this conversation resonated with you, consider following or subscribing to Mirror Talk on your favorite podcast platform. You can also support the show by sharing this episode with someone who might need it and by leaving a 5-star rating. It helps these conversations reach more people who could benefit from them.
Thank you very much.